See if I can do this again. Camera keeps shutting off. It's been 5 or 6 hours since the tragic event. It's 9 o'clock in Texas right now, Central Standard Time. Between 7:30 and 8, the President of the United States was on TV already calling for fucking gun control measures. Bodies aren't even fucking cold. First of all, let me make it clear, I'm not disparaging what happened. It is a fucking tragic event. It is awful. But you have to understand that over and over and over, these motherfuckers target places where there's nobody going to shoot back and there's going to be a certain amount of time before someone shows up. In Texas, pre-K, pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, pre-K through 12, are gun-free zones. They know that. So he knew when he did what he did, there was going to not be anybody there to fight back, and there was going to be a certain amount of time before someone showed up. Uvalde is a small town, or a town. It's not. It's in the valley, so to speak. And country towns in Texas, they don't lock the doors, to my knowledge. So it's just not something they do. Just like most people in the country don't lock their doors. So, one, the President of the United States is already calling for gun control. It's not a gun issue. Two, dickhead was legally allowed to own the gun. Don't know where he got it from or how he got it. I haven't said even if it was an AR style rifle. I'm sure that something like that will come out. Three, if you're relying on the fucking cops to protect you, they always show up just a few minutes late. Realize that. I live in a country. I have a dickhead neighbor who lives behind me. Shoots off a gun. It's either automatic or semi-automatic. Call the sheriff's department on him. He's a convicted felon. After I called, they showed 25 minutes later. And then they went, what do he look like? I'm like, he's over there behind the fucking fence. He's got a gate. Go bang on the gate. Alright? So 25 minutes after shots fired in the country, they show up. The other day, last 3 days, I've had an issue. Somebody was trespassing and destroying property. Called Bexar County Sheriff's. I was on hold for over 5 minutes. I hung up the phone. I went down the street to the city of Elmendorf, went to the city hall, asked for the police. Nobody was there. They gave me a phone number. Called the number. 5 minutes after I called that number, he called back. 10 minutes after I hung up on 911 with Bexar County, they called back. For 3 days, nobody would show up. Not important enough. I stopped and talked to a Bexar County sheriff, asked him what the fuck it would take to get somebody to come out here and do something about it. He came over. Believed the lie the gentleman told. In the end, I got admonished because one of them guy's employees stood in the road and blocked my way, so I went around him and gave him the one finger salute. The cop gave me an admonishment for doing that. The cops are not going to protect you. Here in San Antonio, on the news multiple times before they went off air around 8, they were mentioning body armor over and fucking over. Canadian Prepper put out a video on body armor reviews, a specific brand, I believe Premier. Look it up. If you want body armor, you might want to invest in it sooner rather than later. Be to the wise, if we have a war and there are boots on the ground, having body armor would be a good thing. Make no mistake about it, not happy. I don't like the fact that the president, specifically the Democratic Party, is going to capitalize on this, try to talk about gun control. Guess what? If gun control works, look at Baltimore, look at Chicago, look at any fucking Democratic shithole that's controlled by the Democratic Party that has all these gun control laws, and talk to me about the crime that is committed with gun. And then we can talk about gun control, because it don't fucking work. There's no such thing as common sense gun control. In the end, if somebody is evil in their heart, in their mind, look at England. They outlawed guns. Now they're outlawing knives because the motherfuckers are going around cutting people over with kitchen knives. So it ain't gonna work, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't gonna work. So, do not rely on the police. They make a big circus show. Look what we're doing about this problem, and they've done nothing. They show up and they pick up the fucking bodies. And what makes me sad is the one thing I asked when I left the war zone the second time was for that shit not to follow us home. And now it's happening. And sadly, it's people They haven't talked about whether this motherfucker in Uvalde is a foreign national or an illegal alien. Based on his name, he may be, but they're not talking about it, so that may or may not come out. This really aggravates me. I encourage, if anybody in law enforcement, anybody with any kind of power watches this video, seriously consider hiring veterans who have combat experience, not the motherfucking fobbits. Motherfuckers went overseas and stayed on a fob and never went outside the wire. The people who have actually been shot at and know how to engage in it. Hire them to protect the schools. If we don't, this is never going to stop. There's no amount of gun control that's going to stop it. I don't know what else to say. I got to review the other 2 videos I made because I seem to hit the information better on those 2, but the camera cut off. So, Chief Prepper out.